I have received several requests to do a video outlining my bike. Many mountain bike YouTubers call this a bike check, so I guess I will too. So as you may have guessed by now, this video is a bike check of my 2016 Giant ATX hardtail and all the upgrades I have made to it. So let's go way back to whenever I first got this bike. I got it for my birthday in 2015, and back then I didn't even know what mountain biking was. I just got it because I had disc brakes, and everyone told me that discs were better. On Giant's website, it is categorized under recreation, which is appropriate given the components that come stock. The stock bars, brakes, tires, and fork really showed that this bike wasn't designed to handle the kind of mountain biking I do today. But back in 2015, it fit the bill, and luckily for me, was upgradable enough to get it to the configuration that I have it in today. So let's look at that configuration. We will start at the bottom where I have the Maxxis Crossmark II tubeless ready tires. These tires were the first upgrade I performed in the summer of 2016, and I have to say that this was the most noticeable upgrade I've ever made. They are low profile enough to roll fast down dirt or pavement, but grippy enough to handle rock climbs and flat turns. Although they say they're tubeless ready, I didn't actually attempt to convert them until 2 years after I had had them, and then it didn't work, so I still run tubes in these. Moving up, we have the Giant stock double-walled alloy wheels. These are 28-spoke, quick-release wheels with a freewheel hub in the rear. This makes the cassette silent, but it also makes the drivetrain non-upgradable without new wheels. Speaking of which, my derailleur is the 7-speed Shimano Acera, which is actually compatible with 8 speeds too.
Here, actually, I'm going to stay up here so I can see the drop. Whoa!
Well, it was anyway.
Yeah, it's toast. Holy crap!
The cassette was designed for a 3x, so it's only 1434 in terms of range, and there is a big jump from the second gear to the first gear. Paired with my 30-tooth narrow-wide chainring mounted to the stock Giant crankset, it's great for some things and not so great for others. The pedals are the stock pedals off of Colin's bike. He gave them to me after he upgraded his. The ones that came on mine were basically the same, but made of plastic. Now we're getting into upgrade territory. These Shimano Deore XT disc brakes were the second upgrade I've ever performed, and they were also 100% worth it. Being easier to pull, more responsive, and less sloppy than the mechanical disc brakes made them worth the $200 I spent on them. They are probably the nicest parts on my whole bike, and they have definitely paid for themselves in terms of prevented injury. I have also upgraded the rotors because I needed them to be compatible with the metallic brake pads, which are vastly superior to the stock resin ones. The next component is the suspension. While the Suntour XCR isn't exactly what you would call high-end, it is an excellent improvement over the stock Suntour XCT. It's air-sprung, has a lockout, adjustable rebound, and 120 millimeters of travel. I reduced the volume so I could run 45 psi for acceptable small bump, but also great big hit absorption. It's Suntour's lowest-end air fork, but it's extremely worth the $200 I spent, and I highly recommend it as an upgrade over any XCT, XCM, or other low-end coil fork. We're almost done. The next area would be the cockpit, where I have my Deore XT levers I mentioned earlier. Under the right one, I have the Shimano Altus 7-speed shifter. It was cheap, and it's easy to swap the cable, so no complaints there. The bars I use are the Chromag Fubars OSX, and they're 780 millimeters in width, and that's really all I care about. My old bars were 100 millimeters narrower, and with these I have much more leverage and can actually turn. The stem is the SRAM Truvative Hustle Felt that I bought with the bars, and it's 35 millimeters long. Having this short stem allows me to lean back more without feeling like I'm reaching for the bars too much. The seat and seat post are the stock ones that I like very much. The only upgrade I would make here would be adding a Brandex Ascend 2 dropper post. We're done with all the components, but there is one thing that I haven't mentioned yet. The frame is bent. It is bent about half an inch inward on the left side. This makes it so my back wheel rubs on the frame just slightly while under full power or turning violently. You can see it here. As such, I unfortunately won't be performing any more upgrades to this bike. Instead, I'll be putting the money I would be putting into upgrades into an entirely new bike. Look out for that in a couple of months. For now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.